The life story of Magnus Carlsen, perhaps the greatest chess player to ever live. We're going to be taking a look at his life leading up to the current events right now. Let's start. Carlsen was born in Tønsberg, Norway on the 30th of November 1990. His mother, in the middle here, Sigrun Owen, was a chemical engineer, and his father, Hendrik Albert Carlsen, was an IT consultant. His father also played chess and is one of the reasons Magnus Carlsen started to play chess. Now, his family moved around quite a bit as a child. They moved from Norway to Espoo, Finland, moved to Brussels, Belgium, and returned to Norway in 1998 before moving once more within Norway to Hanslum. Now, Carlsen showed he was a gifted child at a very young age. He was able to solve 50 jigsaw puzzles as a mere child. If this doesn't sound impressive, he was only 2 years old. At the age of 4, he was able to assemble Lego sets that was intended for children 10 to 14. Now, his father, an amateur chess player, taught him to play at the age of 5. He showed a little interest at first. However, he has 3 sisters, the eldest of whom was pretty good at chess. His desire to beat his sister is one of the things that propelled him to get better at chess starting out.
Besides playing his sister, Magnus needed different ways to improve. One of these ways was reading chess books. Yes, he's very young. However, he's also hungry to learn more. So he started reading books such as Find the Plan by Bent Larsen and The Complete Dragon by Edward Gulfeld. However, after practicing a while with these books, he needed a different way to practice chess. So he started playing himself. He developed his early chess skills by doing this. For hours on end, he'd move the pieces around, search for combinations, and replay the games. His father would show him positions, he'd plug them in, and try to find the best moves. However, at this point, after reading some books like The Complete Dragon and studying a lot of chess, he needed a teacher to get him to the next level. Who is better to teach him chess than Grandmaster Simon Agedstein? Now, who is he? He's a Norwegian chess grandmaster, chess coach, author, and former professional footballer as a striker for the Norway national football team. Maybe that doesn't help him with chess, but it's still cool. After Agedstein started to coach Magnus for a while, he has emphasized that Magnus has an exceptional memory. He stated that Magnus was able to recall the locations, populations, flags, and capitals of all the countries in the world by the age of 5. That's absolutely insane. Later, Magnus memorized the locations, populations, coats of arms, and administrative centers of virtually all 356 Norwegian municipalities. Now, Magnus participated in his very first tournament. He was in the youngest division of the 1999 Norwegian Chess Championship at the age of 8 years and 7 months. He scored 6 out of 11 points. Pretty impressive for his very first tournament. However, over the year, his chess rating rose from 904 to 1907. That's crazy. The reason is that he competed in the Norwegian Junior Teams Championship in September 2000, where he scored 3.5 out of 5 against the country's top junior players, boosting his rating. His performance level was around 2000. If you don't know what a performance level is, that's fine. Basically, if you're whatever your rating is, it's whatever you played like in that tournament. You could be at 1200, but if you played really good in the tournament, your performance rating could be 1500, because if you always played like that, you would be 1500 rated. So, Magnus did other things besides chess. Even though he studied about 3 to 4 hours a day, he also did other activities such as reading Donald Duck comics, enjoying skiing, playing football, and reading. From autumn 2000 to the end of 2002, Carlsen played almost 300 rated tournament games, as well as several Blitz tournaments, and competed in other minor events. With lots of studying and practice, he improved rapidly. In 2002, he placed 6th in the European Under-12 Championship Benisicola, and the following month he tied for first place in the 2002 World Under-12 Championship, and he placed second to Jan/Nepo on the tiebreak. To become an international master in chess, you need 2 things, a rating over 2400 and to hit the 3 IM norms. What are IM norms? Well, they're basically requirements that you do very well in tournaments and basically achieve these benchmarks in order to get the title. Magnus in 2003 gets all 3 of these. He gets his first IM norm at the January 2003 Gasul Troll Masters, his second IM norm at the June 2003 IM tournament in Stockholm, and his third one in Polakin Cup in Copenhagen, which he had a performance rating of 2500. He was awarded the IM title on the 20th of August 2003. He has now become an extremely strong chess player and shows no signs of slowing down. Magnus wasn't just satisfied with being an international master, he wanted to keep going. He made headlines after his victory at the age of 13, when he was in the C group at the 2004 Chorus Chess Tournament in Wijak on Z. He scored a 10.5 out of 13, losing just one game against the highest rated player in his group, Dusko Pavlovic. Now, as a result, he earned his first grandmaster norm with a predicted rating/performance rating of 2702. That's absolutely incredible. Basically, he's achieving the norms for grandmasters now instead of international masters, and the grandmaster ones are much harder. Now he gets his second GM norm at the Moscow Aeroflot Open in February. On March 17th, in a blitz tournament in Reykjavik, Iceland, he defeated the former world champion Anatoly Karpov. He gets his third GM norm in the 6th Dubai Open Chess Championship, which is held the 18th to 28th of April. After achieving his three GM norms, he is the youngest GM in the world at that time and second youngest GM in history after Sergei Karyakin, who got it at 12 years and 7 months. His skill does not slow down at all. In fact, it speeds up. Here, for example, in 2005, he participated in the Chess World Cup. Here, he had a very strong performance and beat very strong players. He reached the round of 16 before losing. His performance in this tournament allowed him to become a candidate for the next World Championship. He will now play in a tournament later against some of the other top players who are also candidates, and the winner of that tournament will face the World Championship. For the 2006 Norwegian Chess Championship, he almost won outright, but a last round loss to Berge Ogenstad dropped him into another tie for first place with Agestein. Now it prevented him from beating Agestein's record as the youngest Norwegian champion ever. However, he did eventually win the tournament in a playoff. Now, Magnus played in the first time ever the Melody Amber Blind and Rapid Chess Tournament in Monte Carlo in March. It was 11 rounds, and he achieved 8 draws and 3 losses in the blindfold games, and 3 wins, 7 draws, and 1 loss in the rapid games. He got 9th place altogether, which is pretty impressive, and he placed 2nd place in the rapid behind Vishy Anand. One of Carlsen's most impressive tournaments at this time was the Category 21 Nanjing Pearl Spring Tournament. He won this tournament 2.5 points ahead of the 2nd place finisher, Topalov. This is absolutely incredible. He could have lost 2 more games, and the world's highest rated player would still lose to him. He scored an undefeated 8 out of 10, winning every game as white against some of the best players in the world, and winning as black against Jakovenko. By this rating performance, it was one of the greatest results in history. His performance rating was 3002. Chess statistician Jeff Sonis has declared it one of the 20 best chess performances of all time in tournaments, and the best chess performance of all time by a teenager. Carlsen entered the 2008 London Chess Classic as the top seed. He defeated Kramnik in round 1 and went on to win the tournament with 13 out of 21. In a classic rating system, he would have got 5 out of 7 points, and his performance rating was 2844, 1 point ahead of Kramnik. He is now number 1 on the FIDE rating list, passing Veselin Topalov. Now, if he wishes to, he can go to the candidates tournament. He has performed well enough, and he is invited. However, he decides to decline, which is very unusual. He says that he was withdrawing because, he writes, it's not sufficiently modern and fair. He wrote that the reigning champion privileges the long 5-year span of the cycle, changes made during the cycle resulting in the new format, the candidates, that no world champion has had to go through since Kasparov. Puzzling ranking criteria, as well as the shallow, ceaseless match after match concept, are all less than satisfactory in my opinion. So he's not going to be competing to try to face the world champion. In 2009 early, he decides to start training with Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov announced their relationship in September, and in March they decided to split. However, Carlsen said, "Thanks to Kasparov, I began to understand a whole class of positions better. Kasparov gave me a great deal of practical help," and in 2002, Carlsen said that what he learned from Kasparov the most was complex position. That was the most important thing. In 2013, Magnus Carlsen decided to join the Canada's tournament despite not joining before. In this tournament, he was considered the favorite to win, but Kramnik and Aronian were also deemed his biggest rivals. Now, there was also players like Ivanchuk, who it was less certain how good of a chance he had to win, but it is certainly possible. He is a very strong player at this time. So, um, we get to the last round of this tournament. What's happened so far? Well, the only people who could potentially win are Carlsen and Kramnik. They were equal on 8.5 points, 1.5 points ahead of Swidler and Aronian. Now, Carlsen had the better tiebreak. On the first tiebreak, their scores were 1-1, but Carlsen was ahead on the second tiebreak due to having more wins. And this would not change if they both scored the same in the final round. Therefore, Kramnik, who had the black pieces, needed to win against Ivanchuk, and needed to outperform Carlsen, who had white against Fiddler. Carlsen played to win, since this would guarantee him the tournament victory regardless of Kramnik's result. However, Kramnik knew that the odds of Carlsen losing were minimal, and he went all in against Ivanchuk with the Pierce defense. This backfired, and Ivanchuk got an early advantage, while Carlsen got into serious trouble against Fiddler. Carlsen later got into more serious time trouble and did not defend against Fiddler's attack, which gave Fiddler a winning endgame. Ivanchuk outplayed Kramnik, who resigned a few minutes after Carlsen lost. Thus, the tournament was won by Carlsen on the second tiebreak. Now, this was a super close tournament, and it was very unclear who was going to win. However, now Magnus has qualified to face Vishy Anand for the World Championship title. Let's go into this tournament. The time control for this tournament was 120 minutes for the first 40 moves, 60 minutes for moves 41 to 60, and 15 minutes for the rest of the game, with an increment of 30 seconds a move after move 61. The tiebreaks would get increasingly faster if there needed to be any. Now, Carlsen, when he faced him, he was able to win the match eventually. How did he do this? He was able to win games 5, 6, and 9, and drew the rest of them. Anand didn't win a single game. Even though he's the challenger and less experienced, he was able to win through sheer chess talent and hard work. Now, he is the 16th undisputed world championship, but he wasn't quite done yet. He also went and won the FIDE World Rapid Championship, which was held in Dubai from 16th to 19th of June, and he went on to claim the World Blitz Championships 2 days later, and he was the first person to hold all 3 of the FIDE rated time control titles for the World Championship at once. Now, after 2014, the World Championship match occurs every 2 years. What does this mean? Well, it means Carlsen has to defend his title every 2 years. He defended his World Classical title first against Anand again, winning. The next time he played Sergei Karyakin in 2016, who he also beat. He beat Fabiano Caruana in 2018, although they drew 12 games in a row, and he was able to beat Fabiano in the rapid time controls for the tiebreaks. And in 2021, he faced Jan Nepo, and he was able to beat Nepo pretty convincingly. Let's take a look at some chess news about Magnus Carlsen. Now, after his World Championship match with Nepo, he revealed that he was thinking about not participating in the next World Championship match and losing his title unless Ali Reza Firouzja won the next Canada's tournament. However, when Ali Reza did not indeed win the tournament, he decided that he wasn't going to compete, and he told everybody, and it came as sort of a shock, even though he told people before he was considering it. So, indeed, he will not be defending his World Championship title, although it is still very clear that he is the best player in the world, and perhaps of all time. So, more chess news is more drama, I suppose, is Hans Niemann. In August and September, Carlsen participated as a wild card in the 2022 Singfield Cup as part of the Grand Chess Tour 2022. He won his first game, he drew his second game, However, he was tied for first place with Hans Niemann. In the third game, he was defeated by Hans Niemann with the black pieces. Hans had the black pieces and he beat him. And Magnus soon announced he was withdrawing from the tournament with a tweet with the football manager, Jose Morano, saying, "I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble." People took this as him accusing Hans of cheating, and eventually, after 2 weeks of saying pretty much nothing, he faces him in another tournament, the Julius Baer Generation Cup, which is a section of the Champions Chess Tour 2022. He resigned after one move of playing Hans, and finally, he broke the silence, and on September 26, 2022, Carlsen finally broke the silence and formally accused Niemann of cheating. So, what can we take away from this? Well, we really don't know if he cheated or not. I'd say there isn't really evidence for that. If there is, fine. If there's not, also fine. Now, what can we take away from this whole video? I'd say that Magnus Carlsen is perhaps the best or the best chess player ever. He has some incredible chess achievements. And that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. And please subscribe. Thank you so much for the 200 subscribers so far. That's absolutely incredible. And I hope you'll watch a future video. Thanks.